Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. It's the show that can't really do the regular intro where we sidestep and distract and then come back with something funny. Man, this week, huh? Wear your mask, people. Wear your mask, social distance, and wash your hands often. It's really not that hard, but hopefully now we can get those who still weren't listening, let's just say finally aboard. Let's start with some hot takes. Hassan Whiteside of the Portland Trail Blazers trended on Twitter this week for the wrong reason when a tweet that may or may not have been photoshopped has him getting the hell out of here after watching the debate that was, in the words of the homie Jake Tapper, a hot mess inside a dumpster fire inside a train wreck. Problem is, when Hassan allegedly tweeted he was out of here, it was to move to Hawaii, which, I'm going to assume you all know why people are clowning Whiteside. Now, Hassan has denied he made the tweet and that he loves this country, yada, yada, yada. I think Hassan is going about this the wrong way. His patriotism shouldn't be in question. It's his imagination. Dude, if you're gonna move to Japan or something. That running bit where I give reasons to move there is, spoiler, not a bit. They've got moving Gundam robots and exclusive J's. What's not to love about the place? Maybe we all have an escape plan like Hassan, just with, better GPS. So, it turns out in her daydream phase, Mariah Carey recorded a secret grunge album. Now, for those of you of a certain age, namely those under 30 like I am, grunge was the subgenre of rock music that was part metal, part punk, and all over flannel. Like Seattle, the epicenter of grunge music, loved flannel like New Yorkers loved Timbs in the 90s. Anyways, Carey apparently wrote the album but ended up doing the backup vocals for the actual release. It's not Pearl Jam, but I'll take it. I guess now is when I announced that I too have a secret rap album. It's called Before the Hype, and it's on streaming platforms, and you really should listen to it. It wasn't meant to be a secret. It was good, damn it. Listen, keeping it in the world of music, shout out to Black Twitter for pointing out one of the weirdest subplots in music video history. In the video to Alicia Keys' You Don't Know My Name, it's genuinely wild that Mos Def orders the special, which is a fried fish plate with hot chocolate. On top of that, Alicia admits she adds extra cream to his hot chocolate. How far does Mos Def make it before a bathroom run is in his future? An hour at best? This is why you don't hear his part in the phone call interlude, because it would be weird when Alicia repeats his order. And then you hear his voice like, yeah, I know fried fish and hot chocolate is weird, please don't judge me. Kinda kills the mood a little bit. So my unofficial pick for the coolest picture of the week goes to this dude who got a great shot while rocking some Nike runners in the middle of bull riding practice. My guy looks like he's Mario about to backflip out of the situation while Bowser comes charging at him. Sorry, I've been playing way too much Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Sunshine still sucks though. In the latest edition of What Could Go Wrong, Kyrie? What could go wrong? Kyrie declared on Kevin Durant's new podcast that they really see the Brooklyn Nets not having a head coach and that it's more of a collaborative effort. I get what Kyrie is saying. Maybe having two uber talented guys with amazing skill sets don't need a head coach per se, but maybe don't hire a head coach who was once an uber talented guy with an amazing skill set in his own right too. Pretty sure Steve Nash didn't sign up for the job and to deal with reporters asking him about white privilege just so Kyrie and KD can preemptively light the bridge on fire. Man, next season is gonna be fun, whenever next season actually is. And yet, that's not even the fun part of the pod. Kyrie then appears to drop some shade on not just LeBron James, but every good teammate he's ever had when he says that this is the first time in his career that he feels like he can defer to somebody in the clutch. From a shot-making perspective, that's true, I guess, but saying it out loud, which I love Kyrie for doing, is like Snoop saying he ain't got to worry about Pharrell making hits for him. Meanwhile, he has this history with Dr. Dre. Yes, this would make Kyrie's time in Boston his no limit phase, and Marcus Smart is definitely Silk the Shocker in this analogy. All right, before we move to the next segment, I just want to take this time to congratulate former Clippers and now Philadelphia 76ers coach Doc Rivers. Sure, it's going to be weird to call somebody else Doc that's in Philly who isn't Julius Erving, but I just want to thank Coach for his service because, man, there aren't many people who could have navigated the presidential debate that was the 7 years he was here in LA. But he did it with class and dignity, and for that, I salute him. I just wish his time was better spent here with a real team and whatnot, but more on the Clippers a little bit later. So last week, Sotheby's concluded their Cult Canvas auction, which is a curated crop of rare sneakers, especially of the dunk flavor, which is obviously the preferred choice of damn near every sneakerhead out there at the moment. It included rare pieces like the Paris SB dunks, the pigeons, and what I thought was the holy grail to a lot of people, the what the. Turns out the head turner and the piece that ended up selling for the most was the Nike SB Dunk High Flam, aka For Love or Money. It's a super rare sneaker that was designed by Futura in 2004. The shoe features panels that are a mix of currencies from all over the world. I kind of wish I had a pair to show you so I could make a video where I find the Philippine peso. Anyways, the Flam dunks were only limited to 24 pairs ever made. Most were handed off to friends and family, while a handful were actually raffled off. It's the perfect name for a pair of ultra rare dunks, really. And it's also a personality test. With dunks at an all-time high in the attention and resale value, there might not be a better time to sell a pair. But if you were among those that were gifted these dunks, could you actually part ways with them? It would be like Michael Jordan giving you a pair of Air Jordan 1s in a variant of black, white, and red that will never go into mass production. The temptation to sell might be too hard to resist, especially in these unprecedented times where literally the world could change on a positive or negative Rona test. At the same time, imagine being on such a level that Nike SB or Futura deemed you worthy of these dunks. Of course, this was back in 2004 and nobody was thinking about how much these would go for at an auction in 2020. Are you really willing to sacrifice your credibility in the culture for the price of a Tesla Model S? I know what my co-writer would do. But as for me, I'm on the fence. Don't get me wrong, I understand the privilege that's afforded to me and that I am able to unbox super rare sneakers and packages that nobody in the world has. I am super blessed beyond comparison. I mean, I worked hard to get to this level and none of this was given, but you get the idea. But at the same time, I feel like if I were among the select few that were given a pair of these, I would feel like I was being trolled. It's all because of the name, For Love or Money. Like, I love sneakers and they have become a huge part of my life and my business. I don't reach the heights that I do, nor do I achieve the level of success that I have if not for these things we put on our feet. But I also don't want sneakers to define all that I am. I like music too, I love tech, and I love gaming, which is why I try to crack the space as well, one box at a time. Owning a pair of these and just having it on a shelf feels like a taunt. Like it's constantly daring me to either wear them out and beat them down to the point where the paint is coming off and the sole is cracking, or to sell them so I can afford an NVIDIA RTX 390 or 380 at resale. Or maybe I'm just overthinking this segment too much and not taking the time to ask you, the Hard Pass viewer, what would you do with a pair of these dunks? Sound off in the comments below if it's for love or money. All right, it's time for the heat check. And this week we've got a bit of a weird lineup. Like nothing really pops out immediately, which means that, of course, after we post this video, Nike is going to reveal like some red October Air Mags or LeBron 17 championship pack, whatever. First up, we have the Nike Air Raid. These are on the 8th for 140. This is the Air Jordan adjacent sneaker that gets a 2020 retro. And as a fan of these, I hope these get that special as close to the original treatment that we see on higher end Jordan retros. Next up, we have the Nike LeBron 18 James Gang. These are on October 9th for 180. The rollout of the LeBron 18 continues with this colorway, and it is a shout out to LeBron's family. Only thing missing are really sketches of dances they do or LeBron yelling, Taco Tuesday. Then we have the Adidas Yeezy Quantum Teal Blue. These are on the 10th for $250. And it's like, look, we're just going to go through all the shades of all the colors, kind of like we did with the 350s. I mean, if you guys like it, I love it. Then we have the Air Jordan 3 Blue Cement. This is on October 10th for $190. Really not a fan of calling these blue cements because it kind of degrades the legend of the white and black cements, but it could mostly be because I'm just not a big fan of this shade of blue on the upper. It's okay, but it just doesn't wow me. Then we have the Air Jordan 4 PSG. These are on the 10th for $225. Like, I get that we can't always do loud and obnoxious colorways for the PSG stuff and that maybe there is a demand for an Air Jordan 4 with Bordeaux accents, but the extra $35? just a little bit much to me. And then we have my pick of the week. It's the Nike Drifter Gator ISPA. These are on the 8th for $220. Look, I know what I'm wearing when it rains here in Southern California, which I hope is way sooner than later at this point because it's like 105 degrees today. Why don't you go ahead and check out our unboxing of these for a closer look after you finish this episode of Hard Pass. And now for a heat check on Lob City. Seriously, listen, don't laugh. This is without a doubt the coldest heat check we have done so far because of the departure of Doc Rivers to Philly. The last remnant of the era of Clippers basketball is now basically over. It's apropos, really, as the Lakers are only a few wins away from their 17th NBA championship. Oh, wait, turns out we do have a prepared statement from my co-writer. It's about the controversy regarding the Lakers claiming the Minneapolis championships. Okay, Boston haters, I get it. You guys don't want us to claim those titles Minneapolis won because if we do, then we're tied with 17 championships after we beat Miami. But we claim them because we embraced Minneapolis and adopted their name. Sure, it's weird that the one real NBA team in LA is called the Lakers, even though we don't really have lakes. At least we didn't steal a team and change the name like OKC did when they took the Sonics. The late, great George Mikan and all those other white guys are every bit LA as Magic, Jerry West, Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, and Kobe. You can go back to Jacques now. Wow. Always thought he was a Clipper fan, to be honest. Guess he's back on our bandwagon. Anyway, there will always be a special place in my heart for Lob City. It's the same place where I keep things locked and buried, like bad relationships or awesome sneakers that come in the mail but don't come in my size. The Lakers didn't get Chris Paul, but at least we got to see him grow into arguably one of the greatest to ever play the point guard position. Blake Griffin was a fun guy, but not in the ironic Kawhi Leonard sense. He was actually a funny guy who was perfect for the LA spotlight. DeAndre Jordan gave us the OG dunk face. JJ Redick proved that we can learn to love Duke players as soon as they leave Duke. Jamal Crawford, he's basically your favorite player's favorite player. And of course, Clipper Darrell, he is actually still around. I guess we can't win them all. Anyway, I give the Lob City era 4 Kawhi bounces out of 8 Pandemic P's 3-point shots that hit the side of the backboard. Go Lakers. And now for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like presidential debates. We've already alluded to it a few times already on this show, but I think it just needs to be said. That was embarrassing. Like, let's never do that again. Anyways, this week's Hard Pass goes to the Air Jordan 35 and the Air Jordan 34 and the Air Jordan 33 and you get the idea. At least for a few years. But this also goes for the Nike LeBron 17 or the Kawhi or the Dame 6 or the KD 12 or 13, I don't know. It's the idea or the assumption that even though they might not be the shoes that sneakerheads are clamoring for, we as media people are going to double down and say that you'll love them 10 years from now. It was a common gimmick that we used to do when the blogs dominated the sneaker media landscape. We were quick to declare that this pair of New Balance by Ronnie Fieg or this newfangled technology called Flyknit was the greatest thing ever, and that if you were passing up on these, you'd regret it down the line. And we repeated this same process every year, especially with the latest Air Jordans. Instead of just appreciating the sneakers for what they were, the latest and greatest in sneaker tech and design at the moment, we doubled down on them by claiming you could rock the Air Jordan 28 with jeans, or that you could get away with wearing 31s in a casual setting. Sure, we were coming up with fun content on the blogs, and we did have fans who bought into what we were talking about, but at the same time, we should have done a better job of balancing the role of setting the trends while also keeping our eyes and ears to what is actually popping in the culture. I think our role as gatekeepers at the time and how that turned off some people are what inevitably led to the diminishing role of blogs. I know for my audience, as a YouTuber, I try to present the shoes we feature in our unboxings as what they are and not what they could do for your clout standing. I'd rather tell the story and let it grow organically rather than dictate where the story should go and force the issue. Meanwhile, Hard Pass and other shows that we do are meant to be lighthearted attempts to poke fun at the culture while also acknowledging the places where it could be better. Like, my love for Nike's outlandish ISPA sneakers is not to be some sort of elitist commentary or me forcing my taste onto the viewer. If they become a sensation that people will love now or a decade later, great. If not, I'm not going to be bitter about it. Well, not too much. Like, take a look at the Russell Westbrook Air Jordan 16 and Converse pack. There's some excitement because of the Russ cosign, but that's about it. But take away the Russ branding and what you have is a 2-pack that I think will sit on shelves. I've advocated for Jordans past the original 14, like the 16 or the 29, and push them to be appreciated beyond the basketball court. But what I've learned is that it's going to be the kids on the ground who discover these shoes and determine whether they become what's next. They were the ones to blow up the dunks, with some help from Travis Scott. They were the ones who helped Fila return to prominence thanks to their affordable chunky dad shoes. And they were the ones who made the Kobe 5 the basketball shoe of the NBA bubble. And in time, they'll determine the future of the Nike LeBron 18 and the Dame 7 and the KD 14 or is it 13? Seriously. Can you just get well soon, KD, so I can remember what actual shoe is next? Let's listen to the kids. All right. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before I show you where Hassan Whiteside was planning on going to. An alternate dimension, courtesy of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll see you next week. Peace.